Good evening and a warm welcome. I'm Rihatul and you're watching Viewpoint. The poll bugle in Rajasthan has been sounded and the note is a fiery one. As the day today began with the state's Chief Minister, Mr. Ashok Gehlot's 7:40 a.m. tweet accusing the Prime Minister's office of removing his 3-minute speech from the event that marked Prime Minister Narendra Modi launching various development projects in the state's Sikar. The PMO, however, was quick to contradict the Chief Minister's claim and assert that it was the CM's office, in fact, that had said that Gehlot will not be able to join the event. Now, this further attracted a tweet by the Chief Minister in response, stating that his office informed the government that Gehlot would not be able to be present at the event physically because of his leg injury, but would attend through video conferencing. But given that the protocol doesn't permit it, he went on to mention in a press conference post the Prime Minister's event that, quote-unquote, in the interest of Rajasthan, he did join on non-interactive mode through video conferencing. For the uninitiated, who find this war of words very, very odd, we must refer you to what had happened in the month of April this year, when the Prime Minister virtually launched the Rajasthan's first Vande Bharat train, and he'd started his speech saying, and I'm quoting from that speech, "My friend Ashok Gehlot." Gehlot had later reacted to that address and branded it as the Prime Minister playing tricks to call him a friend and then go on to criticize his government. Well, Gehlot's misgivings aren't altogether misplaced, because look at what happened today. At the public address in Sikar, the Prime Minister did attack the Chief Minister over the Red Diary case, claiming it is the one holding Congress's dark secrets. And as if reading from a page out of BJP's parliamentary meet, he reiterated his charge against India, calling it an opportunistic alliance and their name change akin to a way of the fraudulent.
आपने लाल डायरी के बारे में सुना है ना? कहते हैं इस लाल डायरी में कांग्रेस सरकार के काले कारनामे दर्ज है। लोग कह रहे हैं कि लाल डायरी के पन्ने खुले तो अच्छे अच्छे निपट जाएंगे।
चुनाव के पहले इतने घबरा गए हैं, जनता का मूड देख रहे हैं, जनता क्या सोच रही है, उसको लेके इतना घबरा गए कि बोखला करके अनशन आरोप लगा रहे हैं। उसमें लाल डायरी लेते आगे
Prime Minister Modi is so rattled by the formation of India. Question is whether Modi can guarantee that India will climb out on the bottommost global ranking in human development index, prosperity index.
मुद्दा मणिपुर है। 88 दिन से मणिपुर में नरसंहार चल रहा है। वहाँ पे इतनी क्लेंसिंग हो रही है, हिंसा हो रही है। प्रधानमंत्री को अपने देश के एक स्टेट के बारे में पार्लियामेंट में आके बात करना चाहिए, ना कि जहाँ पे चुनाव होने वाला है वहाँ पे सरकारी प्रोग्राम डाल लेके वहाँ पे जाके विपक्षी पार्टियों को भला बुरा कहना।
And before I open this up for my panel this evening, we have got some breaking news here on Viewpoint. And this time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is once again slammed in the India alliance as he's headed to Gujarat in Rajkot, where he has called that alliance a union of the corrupt, who, quote-unquote, cannot change their nature by changing their name. That's the word that's coming in once again by the Prime Minister as he charges and levels these allegations against the India alliance, the opposition parties. Let's first listen in to what the Prime Minister said in Rajkot.
आजकल इन भ्रष्टाचारियों और परिवारवादियों ने अपनी जमात का नाम भी बदल दिया है। चेहरे वही पुराने हैं, पाप भी पुराने हैं, तौर तरीके भी पुराने हैं, लेकिन जमात का नाम बदल गया है। इनके तौर तरीके भी वही है, पुराने हैं, इनके इरादे भी वही है।
Let me now welcome my guests who join me this evening on Viewpoint. Dr. Anshul Avijit of the Congress Party, Mr. R. Rajgopalan, who's a senior journalist, and Mr. Sanjeev Srivastav, another journalist, is joining us on the broadcast. We, of course, in the course of this debate, will also be having a member of the BJP. Anshul, I'll begin with you. What was the need for that half-baked tweet that was put out by Ashok Gehlot this morning in an accusatory stance that he'd taken ahead of Prime Minister's visit to Rajasthan, where he'd only mentioned a portion of the aspect on why his video message has been omitted out of the Prime Minister's program?
No, Griha, that is not the real story. The real story is what was the need for the Prime Minister to yet again plummet to new levels of disgust, of disbasement, completely sickening once again. I mean, to attack the opposition, the Prime Minister has done it multiple times. You'll be doing a democracy of a favor by exposing the opposition, if you will. If you don't do it, history will. Go ahead and attack the opposition. But in this crude and tasteless manner in which he repeatedly does it again and again. Come on, Griha. Comparing the opposition to a terrorist organization, really the limit. I mean, how dare he? He has no gumption. He is so fearful. He's so panicky that he does not come to Parliament to address on the basic question, the peg of the story, which is not Rajasthan, incidentally. Every state should be important. We will discuss Rajasthan, of course. But the peg of India's story today is what is happening in Manipur. You'll agree with that. There's been unremitting violence for the past 3 months. The Prime Minister has not come and spoken about it. After 2 months, he gave some kind of comment at the beginning of the session. It shows gross incompetence or complete ignorance, right? On the other hand, he keeps on attacking the opposition as if they are at fault. Do it again. Do it time and again. You're always in election mode. You always forget about governance. Do it. But comparing it to a terrorist organization, comparing it to the East India Company, and therefore to colonialism, and the deep irony wouldn't have missed you, because any anti-colonial struggle which he referred to in his speech, it was the Congress Party, it was the members of the opposition, their ideological ancestors that fought for the British, not the ideological masters of the BJP or their ilk, which were hiding behind the shadows of the British. They were cowards. They refused to come out. Not a single member of them went to jail or let their blood for this country. And it's deeply ironical that he keeps mentioning that again and again. The Prime Minister's speech, to me, mirrors his own grim reality and his fragile government and his ego, because everything he mentioned, from lack of governance to the gross incompetence ki beti aur ye sab yahan par surakshit nahi hai, everything applies for him and his government. It's absolutely shameful. Attack the government, but do not forget that you're the Prime Minister of this country. There is a stature. Attack it with dignity, and say something worthwhile instead of these aimless comments.
Okay. Let me, on that note, also welcome Anila Singh, who is with the BJP, who's also joined us now on the broadcast. And unfortunately, Anshul, you've completely jumped the gun. I asked you a different question. We would, of course, have come to that very point that you were making on what has been the Prime Minister's attack so far. But, I really wanted to start with that tweet of Ashok Gehlot. But let me actually bring in Anila Singh. Anila, this is the comment that has been being made by the opposition parties, especially the Congress in this case, considering the Prime Minister was in Rajasthan in the first part of the day. And even Ashok Gehlot in that press conference had mentioned that whatever he's making, the statements that he's making vis-a-vis the opposition alliance name that goes with the acronym I.N.D.I.A is unbecoming of his position as the Prime Minister of the country. How do you respond to that?
My Ram to all, and just now, when I joined your debate, I heard what Anshulji was saying. Yeah. He was saying it is obnoxious the way Prime Minister is comparing our I.N.D.I.A with some terrorist organization, blah, 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 blah. Have you forgotten your leader, Salman Khurshid, what he did? He compared RSS with Boko Haram. He compared RSS with ISIS. Have you forgotten? And have you forgotten that in one of the book he wrote, जब सिख 1947 में जब सिख मारे जा रहे थे तो मुसलमान बहुत खुश हो रहे थे. So check your facts before you start blaming and accusing Honorable Prime Minister of this great country. So your unstable alliance, which you're trying to make it stable, we very well know that what happened in Bengaluru, what happened in Patna. So I.N.D.I.A. suits you, but India doesn't suit you, because your political party, especially if I talk about Anshul ji, they have simply exploited this great nation. What you have done the same thing which Britishers did, because ultimately your party was made and handcrafted by Angrez only. So divide and rule. It continued even after Britishers left our nation. So here is one Prime Minister who is working for this great nation, and he promised, yesterday he promised that in my third term, India will be third greatest economy of the world. He said this thing, and he is going to do that, because we have seen that in 2013 we were on 10th step of the economic ladder of the world. Now today we are on 5th. So very soon we'll be on 3rd. So here we have a Prime Minister who is working for the nation, and on the other side there is an alliance which works for the dynacracy, mobocracy. This is their mantra. And Prime Minister's mantra is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, but Sabka Prayas. If somebody doesn't want to do prayas, they are most welcome. They can join I.N.D.I.A. But I just want to say one thing here finally, Greha, that in 1942 we didn't get an opportunity to participate Quit India movement. But here we have an opportunity. Any supporter or voter of this alliance should quit this alliance, I.N.D.I.A. ये चोर मक्कार केवल और केवल वंशवाद बढ़ाने वाले भ्रष्टाचारीवाद फैलाने वालों का ये अलायंस है. Red alarm.
All right, Sanjeev Srivastava, let me bring you in here. It's very amusing how members of the BJP do not even want to call this India. It is I.N.D.I.A. I'd like to understand this one aspect, because that's another charge that's been leveled at the BJP and the Prime Minister, that they are rattled because this is the nomenclature that the opposition alliance has come up with. And this is becoming more and more evident in each and every speech that the Prime Minister is making, whether what was conveyed to us through Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, what happened in the BJP parliamentary meeting, or these two speeches, one in Rajasthan, the other one in Rajkot, just a short while ago.
See, what has happened is that the opposition very cleverly thought that this India name would work for them. And because Made in India, Startup India, Bharatiya Janata Party also has India, Bharatiya, and everything about BJP is about nationalism. So they thought it will be a very good counter.
Yeah.
But the BJP in some ways is falling into the trap. Otherwise this India name would have passed you by. It could have been a news story for a day or two. But the manner in which the BJP sometimes tries to attack India, sometimes try to make it India versus Bharat, and now Anila Singh ji is making an acronym out of it, which it actually is, I.N.D.I.A. So I think it's much ado about nothing, much more importance being given to a name, which the opposition was crafty or smart or intelligent or whatever you say, politically savvy, to come up with that kind of a name, because they were constantly being pushed into that anti-national corner, so that was their answer to this. But by BJP focusing on the India part of it is giving some play to the opposition game on this, I think. Otherwise, at the end of the day, it is not a contest between India or Bharat, or India really won't have that kind of a resonance unless the BJP makes it resonant. Otherwise, it will be a clash of two ideologies, two different set of groups, Prime Minister Modi on one side and a clutch of opposition leaders who are very relevant and powerful in certain strongholds of theirs. But it would have been a usual contest. But now with this opposition coming in with this name, and I think the BJP is somewhere falling in that trap. If they had just avoided and moved on, it wouldn't have become such an issue. But now it is gradually becoming one.
Okay, Mr. Rajgopalan, would you agree to what Mr. Srivastava is saying, considering, everything was a nationalist pitch for the Bharatiya Janata Party, with the opposition coming up with the name India? Do you think that is what is happening by giving it too much of importance? Because this is what had happened during Rahul Gandhi and the Congress Party's Bharat Jodo Yatra. By claiming that it is irrelevant and by talking about it, they gave it that relevance which the BJP itself was saying doesn't need to be given to either Rahul Gandhi or the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Do you think something similar is happening in this India case, where again and again the Prime Minister is talking about the nomenclature?
Prime Minister, he goes for a kill. He does not like Chowkidar Chor. Did you not know that Prime Minister known for crowd resourcing? Prime Minister does it with a vehement attack on the Congress. The reason being, how long you can brand Rahul Gandhi? 1,000 times. They branded him from 2014 onwards. All that branding aborted. Now the new nomenclature, I.N.D.I.A. What does it mean in that? So therefore, I honorably disagree with Sanjeev Srivastava.
Okay.
BJP is not rattled. It is Congress which got rattled because they submitted to the government today. 5 bills have been passed, madam. Can you believe, in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? If they want to obstruct the proceedings, no conference motion they brought because Prime Minister was not coming. Therefore, the government taught a lesson to the opposition. Opposition gave in to the trap of government, and naturally they gone in for no conference motion. Can you believe 303 varies and 140 varies? There is a difference of 200 in between. So therefore, my understanding is Congress lost its game. Rahul Gandhi goes abroad and says about India. He describes about India in foreign country. There are 2 Indias. One India, another India, rural, urban. Semi-India, full India. Like that, he is confused personality. That is why he could not take off for the last 10, attempts. So, like, my understanding is Congress lost its game. Congress will not revive because there are no 26 states. There is no organization for Congress. What is happening in Rajasthan? Red Diary. That is creating a major furor in Rajasthan. Similarly, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is the leader of the opposition. Why he does not move the no conference motion? Why Gaurav Gagoi has been given? Because Trinamool objected to that. So therefore, there is a contradiction even in the initial stage. DMK, which goes for a water dispute between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Tamil Nadu wants water from Karnataka. Meghdadu, they are constructing a dam now. There is a conflict between DMK and Congress. Therefore, they say I.N.D.I.A. India. There is a conflict. That is why Prime Minister is exposing repeatedly, whether in Rajasthan or in Pragati Maidan, Bharat Manimantabam, or in Rajkot, by which he will crowdsource it and ensure that the BJP is gone ahead of the Congress.
Okay. Anshul, would you like to respond to the charges that have been made by both Anila and Mr. Rajgopalan? I'd like to understand this one thing. When we talk about whether the BJP is rattled with the acronym India, the other accusation that's coming, and we are going back to Rajasthan, and this time I wish you, answer that question that I had put forth to you. The fact that Ashok Gehlot preempted what is coming when the Prime Minister would have visited Rajasthan. He knew the Red Diary would be made into a huge charge because that is something that Ashok Gehlot cannot shy away from, and this is ample ammunition from the BJP, and of course the Prime Minister used it against Rajasthan Congress. Do you think preempting that, he'd already tweeted that he's been not been allowed to say anything in the Prime Minister's welcome, and his tweet has been snipped, in fact done away with altogether, and now there is an accusation that there is a rift between the India alliance as well?
No, but that's not the real story. I mean, the Red Diary is a complete bogey. It's a red herring. It's to divert attention from other much more serious things that are going on, which is a northeast state, which is extremely fragile at the moment. It has a history of some form of instability. You have to get peace there very fast. You have a highly prejudicial government, a highly incompetent government over there. The Chief Minister of there has not been fired. That is the real story. Do talk about Rajasthan. That is politics.
But Red Diary was something that your own now sacked minister had in fact got into the discourse.
No, do talk about it. There will be a time and space. You do talk about anything concerning Rajasthan. The Prime Minister mentioned it. Do play your politics. Very proudly members of the press and others say, oh, the BJP, works overtime in its politics and the Prime Minister is absolutely ruthless. That is so highly unfortunate because what has been, completely undermined is governance. This Prime Minister will go down as the single most incompetent Prime Minister in the history of India when you talk about demonetization, the way he completely wrecked the economy. I call it
no demonetization.
No, hang on a minute.
Let him complete.
Hang on.
let me complete. If you want to talk about Rajasthan, also talk about the Health Security Act. Also talk about urban MNREGA. Also talk about OPS, the promises that have been fulfilled and what we have delivered.
The Congress is doing it. Congress is doing it.
Sir, hang on a minute.
But you are repeating the old story, bhai. What is the story of Rajasthan? You say that.
Mr. Rajgopalan, let Anshul make
Are you going to tell me what to say? Did I tell you what to say? You said whatever you want.
Yeah,
like
complete
the
your
Prime
point. Anshul, complete your point, please.
Come on, just give a break. No, hang on a minute. What I'm trying to say is the incompetence of the Prime Minister, which is hugely manifest, the apathy and the incompetence of the Prime Minister, which is hugely manifest in a situation which is now brewing in Manipur at the moment. The Parliament impasse is because of that particular reason. He's not coming on and saying things about it. A token couple of words don't mean anything
but
at
Anshul,
all.
even in the impasse, like Mr. Rajgopalan was mentioning, there are bills that are getting passed without the opposition's interference.
What is the joke? What is the joke of
one second, let me ask the question, Mr. Rajgopalan. I'm asking it, so let him respond. So that is happening despite what you guys are trying to do, getting the Prime Minister on the mat, getting him to respond to Manipur. There are bills that are being passed without your participation. How is this a parliament, a functioning parliament? And do you think that is normal? Do you think that should be allowed in the wake of this one stance that you have that the Prime Minister needs to speak about Manipur?
One stance, one of your states in independent India in 3 months has gone where it's going right now.
And I'm not diluting. I'm not diluting the gravity. I'm not diluting the gravity of that.
Hostage to that. There is a reason why it's being held hostage to that particular situation.
But it is not being held hostage. The bills have been passed. That's the problem.
That are coming out every day for the past 3 months from that state. It is highly unfortunate if bills are being passed without discussion. Do you think that when there is this, do you think that the BJP has a history of passing bills with discussion, even the parliament is on? Will you tell me one bill which was discussed? And there was actually an opposition.
And why do you think that is happening? Why do you think? Is the opposition not to blame?
The fascist government which does not believe in taking the opposition into confidence.
Okay. Anila, that's another charge that BJP needs to answer. Bills being passed without discussion. This is nothing new. This is not about the Manipur stalemate that is right now happening in the parliament. This has been something that has been happening with the BJP regime. That's the charge that the Congress party is levelling. The second thing, the Prime Minister, even today, while he prioritized attacking the opposition and the I.N.D.I.A alliance, he said nothing about Manipur. He said nothing about women's safety. He said nothing about the situation in the northeast.
Griha, number one, we have not brought the situation of stalemate. They have invited it. They do not want any sort of discussion in the parliament. They want to dictate their own terms and conditions. They have rented black dress from ISIS, because whenever we see such so many people in the black dress, no, I'm just saying, when they can say anything, why can't I? This is the freedom which Constitution has given me as well. I am Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson. It doesn't mean I can't say. Even I have got that right.
Okay, complete your
point. And secondly, if I talk about the Manipur, Honorable Home Minister, he wants to discuss about it, because even we want to tell the people, the whole of the nation, why and how the things has happened and are happening in Manipur. We want to discuss about it. We want to tell each and everything about the Northeast and Manipur especially. And a Prime Minister who has dedicated his life, or I can say that he sealed his life for the empowerment of the woman. How anybody can question his working, that he has not worked for the empowering women in this nation?
I just want to understand, Anila, why has this become an ego tussle? Because that's what it comes across to be. The opposition wants the Prime Minister to speak. The BJP says Home Minister is ready. He wants to have a discussion. He sent out a letter, use that as an olive branch. However, the opposition is not willing. When will this end? There needs to be a discussion, and we also have been during the course of this broadcast for this entire week, we've been talking about when is this impasse going to end? And none of the parties have an answer to this. So it has essentially become an ego tussle, an exercise where it is your word against the opposition's.
See, I have huge objection on this phrase or term, olive branch. Why should we? Even they are elected member of parliaments, and parliament is one place where they should discuss about all the policies related to the citizens of this great country, or all the voters who have voted for these member of parliamentarians to go and discuss on the policies which can do some good for them. But instead of that, they are creating mayhem, they are creating ruckus, and every time, whenever there is a parliamentary session to begin with, they come out with something, and they simply want that whole of the parliament session should wash out. And most of the time, they are successful in it. This is hard. The parliament doesn't run from their pocket. It is being run from the hard taxpayers' money. They are not appreciating the simple thing.
Sanjeev, let me bring you in here. Let me bring you. Okay.
I know one thing. And let me tell Mr. Anshul. Mr. Anshul, you should, and Sanjeev ji as well, because he's supporting Congress party here, or this I.N.D.I.A alliance. So I just want to tell that it is yesterday's news only, and it has come out in all the newspapers connected with finance and the economy, that IMF has said that India has the finest economic growth trajectory in the world. In 2024, the IMF has projected 5.9%, and 25 it is going to be 6.1. So whether it is China, whether it is USA, they all are going to be behind us. And so how can you say that the economy is of this country?
Economy is one thing, the turmoil in Manipur is another. Sanjeev, I'd want you to come in here. When it is about the opposition protest, one second.
They all are scared of.
Okay, let them respond about the red diary and also the black protest, the black stir in the parliament. Sanjeev, I'd like to understand, do you see this protest headed in the right direction by the opposition? Because even as they protest, they actually ensue a black stir in the parliament, wear black clothes or black bands, and also call in for a no confidence motion against the Narendra Modi government. Where is it really headed? Because even in the wake of all of that, the Prime Minister is not even in the Parliament today. We do not know when during the course of the next week that discussion on the no confidence is going to happen. And we also know how Narendra Modi is going to be comfortably sailing through it all. Is the way the opposition is going forward with bringing Narendra Modi to speak about the Manipur situation right, do you think?
Okay, first of all, let me say that I'm not batting for India or opposition. The problem with today's polity is that if you are critical of somebody, then you're automatically seen as on the other side, which is fine with me, frankly. I don't have any axe to grind, but I just want to say that I would like to believe I am independent. Just because if I criticize the BJP on some issues and Congress on some issues, it doesn't mean that I am either batting for one or the other. But having said that, I think on your question, what options is the opposition left with? It has been a time-tested practice. When BJP was in opposition, it brought the house down in this manner all the time. And it was then, I used to say, okay, that's the BJP's right as opposition to stall the house, to hold the house to ransom. It's the government's job to make the house run. So when Mrs. Anila Singh ji was saying that, what do you mean by olive branch? Why should... So the point is that once you are leader of the house, once you are a governing party, with this kind of a majority which one has not seen since Rajiv Gandhi's days, then it becomes, in my opinion at least, it becomes your duty to walk the extra mile or miles to make sure that the house runs. So if he's the leader of the house, if he's the Prime Minister of the country, what is the big deal really? Okay, it's churlish on the part of opposition to keep insisting the Prime Minister should give a statement. But on the other hand, why should the Prime Minister shy away from a statement? See, what is the big deal? Aren't we a democratic setup? Isn't he the Prime Minister? Is Manipur, if not the most burning issue, one of the most burning issues in the country in recent months? So why not the leader of the house speak about it? And I will say that yes, it's great news that Indian economy is growing. IMF has said that we are going to, they've upped our forecast from 5.9% to 6.1%. It's great news. It's great news that we will become the third largest economy in the world, as Mr. Modi said today in his next term, if that really happens. So we should all celebrate that as Indians. But the issue is that we also have to celebrate our democracy and be a truly functioning democracy. And the onus is always with the government of the day to make sure that we remain a democracy and that all the democratic
very pointed question. Do you think, and Anila and Mr. Rajgopalan, this question is for you. This entire push of talking about India and talking about the Popular Front of India, Quit India movement, all of this is an attempt to shift the narrative so that the question on Manipur gets stalled and this entire conversation gets shifted to a back and forth between the opposition and the BJP, because the Prime Minister is saying this not once but thrice almost.
And Griha, let the debate start. Whether Prime Minister comes or not, you understand. If the Home Minister is to reply, apart from that, Sanjeev and me have covered Parliament more than 40 years. Total, we would have covered for 70 years. In 70 years, nowhere I have seen any rule of the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. The rules of Rajya Sabha is different, Lok Sabha is different. Nowhere in the rules, either 167 or 265, whatever that, there is no word that Prime Minister should come and address. They say government. So government will definitely reply. Why can't the opposition allow to that? And second thing, there is a positivity in Prime Minister. What I will do in 25 years, this is all my roadmap. But in opposition,
well, all of that is fine. All of that is fine in an attempt to actually push for votes for 2024. But also a conversation on Manipur is important. I believe every member on the panel would agree to that one point. Let's see if the opposition is stuck up on a word from the Prime Minister, or if at all there is going to be a middle path where a conversation in the Parliament actually begins on the Manipur situation. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on this debate. And with that, I'm slipping into a very short break on Viewpoint. But up next, the Udupi college filming scandal has sparked a political firestorm in Karnataka between the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Congress. We are asking, is politics hampering a free and fair probe? That debate after a short break.
Yesterday's incident in More and Phagakau area. So, you know, some groups are always trying to keep Manipur unboiled. But we, the people, we, the government, are trying to restore normalcy. But almost 80-90% has returned normalcy, I believe. And I'm trying my best with the blessing of the Honorable PM Modi ji and Honorable Union Home Minister Ashok Gehlot and other central leaders. I'm trying my best for reconciliation talk with the communities which are engaging. And yesterday also, I have a long meeting with my legislature colleagues, and we unofficially form a committee to sort out and to meet the both sides so that normalcy can be restored as early as possible.
Sir, Aizawl may there have been protests, supporting the Kuki community. What do you have to say on that? That there was a big rally out there. Is Manipur's problem now spreading into Mizoram also? And some Metis have come here.
You see, it is very unfortunate. The rally organized by the peoples, that is okay. That is okay in a sense, democracy. But involvement of a Chief Minister on that particular rally, I think it is not nice. I respect him as a senior, but he has gone beyond the ethics as a CM, and as a CM he should not interfere in other state affairs. Me too. When something has happened in Assam, without the consent of the Assam CM, I cannot intervene or interfere. When something has happened in Mizoram, without the consent of the Chief Minister, I cannot say anything, because that is the protocol, and just we are within India, we have to respect each other. But the attitude which shown by Zoram Thanga senior.
Will you speak to him, or will you inform this to the central government?
No, I don't. I talked with one honorable minister regarding the what is happening in Mizoram, and I could not get his line, but I got one line from one of the minister, and I conveyed.
Minister of Mizoram.
Minister of Mizoram, one Nanao. I call him and I convey my message to him to keep sharp, this and that.
So another one question is, there are so many bunkers by the civilians, from both these sides. People with arms, they are there. What are you doing to stop this? Because until and unless disarm things are made, things will not fall in place.
No, we have
So many checking posts by common people.
we have jointly the central government and the state government forces, security forces, jointly destroyed many bunkers, both hill and valley, and we will continue to destroy. We will not allow any kind of bunker in the hills, either in the valley. Thank you.
Kamalika, my colleague, joining us, getting us the latest on ground. Kamalika, the Chief Minister there allaying fears, saying that the situation is getting better, but also talking about how this issue has now spread beyond the borders of Manipur into other states.
And the big question is, he has lashed out on the Chief Minister of Mizoram. He has said that Honorable Zoramthangma does not have any right to, as a Chief Minister, to go into a rally. And he has also questioned that how come the Chief Minister of Mizoram gets involved in issues of Manipur. So it is clearly now not only the case of Manipur, now it is also clearly seen that the Manipur Chief Minister is hitting out in his counterpart in Mizoram, and he is saying that he does not have any right to interfere into Manipur. That is another very big point in his interview when he spoke to us, with us exclusively, that that in no way Mizoram CM can get into this thing. So this is a very big statement by the Chief Minister of Manipur, where he says to CNN News 18 that he questions that how Zoramthangma, being the Chief Minister of Mizoram, gets himself involved into Manipur affairs. Can any other Chief Minister do it? And he has also reached out to a couple of ministers in Mizoram. He tried to reach out to Zoramthangma, that's what he told us. So it's a very big statement, because things were like that in Mizoram, this rally took place. Some of the Métis of who stays in Mizoram, they were evacuated to Imphal. All these things were going. Amidst all these things, this fight is now clear, and the fight is not in Manipur, but the fight is also now between, obviously the Manipur Chief Minister lashing out.
Welcome back. You're watching Viewpoint with me, Griha. Now, while the local right-wing groups and the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders demand that the Udupi police in Karnataka act against the girls who had allegedly placed cameras in the girls' washroom of a paramedical college in Udupi, the police have urged the people to stop circulating and fomenting misinformation, rumors and baseless facts about the incident. This, as a doctored video from Tamil Nadu, is doing the rounds on social media and being passed off as the Udupi incident. Now remember, disciplinary action has already been initiated against the 3 students, and they have been suspended by the college authorities already. What's suspect though is that while the college management has said that the incident was a prank, although just because the 3 girls belong to the minority community, 2 separate cases have been voluntarily registered by the Malpe police against the 3 and also the college management over the incident. Although things have gotten slightly out of hand now, with the BJP demanding a thorough probe to unearth what they claim to be a larger conspiracy behind the Udupi voyeurism incident, and the National Commission for Women member Khushbu Sundar visiting the campus to conduct an inquiry into it. Now we ask, is this politicking over young lives just in order to get back at the ruling Congress in the state after its Home Minister has asked his department for a review of the 2020 Bengaluru riots case? Because that's what is being suggested. Let's take a look.
NCW has come here on the basis of a complaint which was sent to us. Investigation from the police department and the investigation from our side will continue and will come to a conclusion very soon.
friends doing these kind of things, I think we will leave it to the principal. They will handle it. Why BJP wants to make it a political issue out of it? I don't think this is a good trend.
State government is taking very rightly, saying that it's a fake news. If it is fake news, why 3 girls were suspended? That apology letter itself is good enough to put a case should be taken as a material for putting a fire. Police has failed in this.
Now, for a better understanding of this entire Udupi case, let's first take a look at the timeline of the incidents. So, the first thing that had happened was in July 18th. That's when the incident really took place at the paramedical college in Udupi. This was when the filming incidents, the voyeuristic filming incident was recorded and registered. June 20th is when there was a probe initiated. Why after 2 days? Because the students really protested about this entire incident. Now, later comes the claims that were made by the college authorities. So, the first claim that the college is making is that the victim was filmed as part of a prank. There was nothing more to it than it being a prank. The college further goes on to say that the video was deleted in the presence of the victim soon after the incident was registered. At least that is what is being said by the authorities. And they further go on to say that the accused also apologized to the victim. All the 3 girls who have been accused of filming this victim apologized. The college also goes on to further say that the victim did not want to register a complaint. This is another claim by the college. That's when things have really escalated. Now, July 25th is when the college management suspended the 3 accused, and that's where this matter has gone out of hand, because once the college says that everything was settled, then why go ahead and suspend the 3 girls? July 26, the Udupi police booked 3 accused under various sections, further escalating the matter. If we go on further, Udupi police also warned against the circulation of the fake video. Like I already mentioned, there was a video from Chennai that was doing the rounds that was being used to claim that this is the video from Udupi. However, that's a fake video and misinformation was being circulated, and the police advised against it. Now, BJP has come into the picture now, and it has accused the Congress of quote-unquote appeasement, as the accused is part of the Muslim community. The 3 accused are part of the minority community, and that's why the appeasement politics charge comes by the BJP. BJP has further alleged larger ploy to trap Hindu girls. Now, what the students' wing of the Bharatiya Janata Party, the RSS, is claiming is that this video was circulated among the accused's family members, and this was an attempt to lay a trap, as far as the girls from the Hindu community for them is concerned. Now, if you go further, the Congress has now accused the BJP of doing divisive politics and hampering the probe. This is what has come to light in this entire aspect, and this is what we are trying to ascertain as to why, when it has already been decided that the case has been registered, the college authorities are also saying this was part of the prank. Even the girls' family members do not want to go ahead and press further charges. Why is the politicking really taking place on this entire Udupi incident? To discuss that further, I am joined by the guests on my broadcast. Dr. Sudha Halkai of the Karnataka BJP is with us. Aishwarya Mahadev of the Congress Party. Brinda Adige, who is an activist and lawyer, is going to be joining us in some time. But let me see if we can actually take this debate forward without her. And we also have Rukmini Singh, who is an advocate. Let me actually begin with Dr. Sudha Halkai. Dr. Halkai, the fact that the police is claiming that the video that is right now become a part of the protest is a fake video altogether. And there was something that was already settled between the college authorities, the students, the victim and the victim's family and the accused family. Why this politics then?
Very good evening. It's a very shameful act that once again, one of the districts in our own state, Karnataka, is in the news for such a grievous criminal act. And this is not politicizing. Please don't give this the name of politicizing. This is something where we are going in depth of the matter and yes, more investigation has to be done because we don't know where all the videos have been circulated. My only concern is why the mobiles were not seized and why the police department has not given this to the forensic department. They would have done a better job, and wherever the videos have been circulated, they could be tracked and they could be erased, and even the videos that they were deleted also, they could be retrieved back and they would have washed off completely. What guarantees that these people
let
have
me
not
come in here.
circulated these
Let me
videos?
come in here. I'm afraid you missed that point completely where I mentioned that the police has already gone on record and said that the video that's been circulated is not even from Udupi. And they've also said that the video was
about that
deleted.
video. No. I'm not talking about that video. I'm talking about what they have said. The matter is already settled in the college by saying that it was just a matter of prank. How could they give it a name by saying it is a prank or it is for fun? How can they use it so lightly? Is this such a carefree incident? Keeping a record, and our home minister is saying that this is a matter between the friends. Does the friends do all these things? Placing a camera in the toilet of a girl, let us say, irrespective of a Hindu or Muslim, whosoever has done it, it is a very grievous act, and it is a very traumatizing act for the victim who is facing this. It's a nightmare for her. Please try to understand. We all need to stand
isn't it too much of a stress stretch by the Bharatiya Janata Party? Because what I want to understand from is that there is a girls' college where there are, or girls' hostel where there are several pranks that are being played. I'm obviously not trying to say.
This kind. If you can go into the
in fact, if we go into the details, of course, ragging is a very, very serious aspect. The girl who was filmed was fully clothed. That is what at least the FIR also suggests, and the video was deleted because the girls who filmed the other girl were really sorry about the incident.
Why this thought of placing a camera in the toilet? If the same would have been done in the other ways, will the situation be the same? We talking about it is also a sin. Would they keep quiet in the same way? I don't think they would have been into these decent debates also. Things would have been very much different for them.
Okay, Aishwarya, you want to come in? Aishwarya, I want to understand what really is happening out of Udupi in Karnataka. Why do you think the BJP is now joining the ranks when it comes to the protests that possibly have been escalated by members of the ABVP and also the Mahila Morcha of the Bharatiya Janata Party? Why do you think they're jumping into it? Aishwarya.
See, we are not jumping into
Aishwarya.
Good evening, Rehan. I'd really like to speak uninterrupted. I would like to put on record that any sort of action that outrages the modesty of a woman, any sort of action that violates her bodily integrity, and any such nature of sexual violence in whatever form is deeply condemnable, and we believe that the Congress party does not stand for it. One. Second thing is, we also believe this is not a case of 77 days of silence, and I will explain to you systematically how the Congress government, because the BJP is the first to run and talk about these issues of how we speak about women and what we haven't done in Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, but I'll tell you exactly what the Karnataka government here has done, and maybe their government in Manipur can take a few leaves out of our book. Griha, first and foremost, when this incident first came to light, there was a thorough investigation done. Suo motu cognizance was taken of the FIR. 2 FIRs were spread.
Yes.
But you had these obviously rejects of foreign universities trying to create a career for themselves, come here and start dog whistling about what is happening to Hindu human rights, and further vitiated the situation. At every step of the way, the Karnataka government, the SP or in the district, as well as the authorities, have constantly kept massive amounts of clarity as to what is happening. One. Second, there is an FIR, and third, there's an investigation underway, and I really hope my BJP spokesperson had done a little more research, because it is not me, but her own Kushbu Sundar, who sits on the NCW, who has gone on to say what? She said forensic of over 40 hours. The research has revealed nothing. There is no video content. Second, she says there is no video of this instance doing any rounds across anywhere on social media. So the Shefali, Vaidyas and whatever that other thing's name is, they obviously need to check themselves. And trust me when I say this, that the government is going to come after them for spreading and further creating communal unrest in Karnataka because of this. And the third, we have taken decisive, concise action. The fact is the BJP, and she said irrespective of whether they were Hindu, Muslim, no, ma'am. Last year in the same district, there was an instance of one of the boys who works with the ABVP and the Bajrang Dal having videotaped women in washrooms. Did you see the same outrage from your outfits then? You had your MLAs defending this boy and preventing him from even going to jail. And you sit sit your high and mighty acting like you're better than us and holier than thou when your hands are dirtier than anybody else, because all the coastal communal tension, all the divide, all the communal rifts come from you. The BJP is morally bankrupt. They have no LOP. They have no agenda. They have been washed out of the state. So they're using these instances to further fuel communal tensions. Griha, ask her to tell me
75 days, 75 days and more than 75 criminal activities have gone in the state. More than 12 murders have taken place, 48 suicides have been taken place, terrorists have been arrested, and what not.
It's embarrassing for everybody. Give me the fact. Tell me what 75 crimes. Tell me in the 75 days.
I'm talking about the blanket statement. Dr. Sudha, since you interjected, since you intervened.
Show us better than that. Go on Times
One
now
second,
and talk about this if you have to. But give us
one second. Dr. Sudha, since you intervened and you are talking about, you're making a blanket statement, of course it needs to be backed by facts. And this entire claim that Aishwarya is also making, which is of course being put to light, is that it was the Bharatiya Janata Party, the ABVP, the Mahila Morcha, they've started making this into a Hindu-Muslim exercise. Why is that? When it was an intrinsic matter, and of course we are condemning any act that obviously disrupts and the modesty of a woman, of course we will not support it. But why make it into what community did the perpetrators, for example, belong to? And also, how does it play out? There are 3 women, 3 girls who we're talking about. That also needs to be, spoken about.
See, it is a very clear-cut appeasement politics here. Take it from the manifesto to the budget release. And every time, when the Congress government is in charge, is in the power in the Karnataka, such incidents take place. Take it, this one, PFI, take it, the PFI incidents also, the Congress government has very well protected them. And so many,
let her respond, Aishwarya,
I can give you the incidents and the same thing. And even the recent terrorist arrest which was done recently. And they don't want to give over the case.
Please answer my question first.
Yeah,
you are digressing.
I'm telling you,
you are digressing.
Why not the terrorist, the anti-national organization, the terrorists
you are digressing right now. What you're doing is digressing.
From the same segment, and the same thing, the victimization of the girls is from the same segment. This is not.
Dr. Sudha, this is just rattling of information.
Incident.
This is just rattling of information. I am simply asking you. This is a girls' college that we are talking about. There are victim and perpetrators accused who are from the girls. They are the girls that we are talking about over here. Why make it into which community do they belong to? No, what does so what mean?
If they're girls, why they shouldn't be?
Why is the religion being brought into the discourse is my question.
You tell me.
Dr. Sudha.
No, I'm telling you, why didn't they do the recording of the Muslim girls again? If it was between the friends.
Okay, so she is reiterating the point that this is going to be made into a religious aspect. Okay, all right. In fact, we have to cut across some breaking news. Right now, we are getting to know from top government sources that the Ministry of Home Affairs will be referring the Manipur viral video case to the Central Bureau of Investigation. This is the big breaking news that we are getting on Viewpoint, that the MHA is going to refer the Manipur viral video where 3 women, 2 were in the video, were stripped naked, paraded in Manipur, and that became a talking point, and that is the one that is responsible for the impasse in the parliament, with the opposition demanding a statement by the Prime Minister on the floor of the House. Now that video is going to be referred to the Central Bureau of Investigation. My colleague Aman is joining us on the broadcast. Aman, this is a huge development in this particular case. What has led to this?
See, clearly the centre has taken very, very strong cognizance of this video which had emerged, this disturbing video which was condemned by all sections of the society and all political parties. The centre has now decided that this case will be handed over to the CBI, and even the trial of this case, it is being recommended, will be held in another state outside Manipur. That are the 2 major developments, that the trial will be held, that is the centre is going to recommend that the trial should be held outside Manipur, and this case should be probed by the CBI. Another important development in this case is that the person who shot this video, the videographer who made this video, has also been caught. That phone has been seized. So it will also be probed how this video got leaked, who leaked the video, what was the chain of the events. Everything will be established during this probe. This is the one of the major developments in the case. The other development, which the central government sources are very clearly telling us, that though there is violence still happening in Manipur, the violence is at a much lower scale than earlier. In fact, the sources are saying that since July 18th, there has been no death in Manipur. And also the third important point that the top government sources are saying that the center is speaking to both the communities in Manipur, the Kukis and the Metis, and it is hopeful to get them on the same table soon for talks. In fact, such talks to get them on the same table are also at an advanced stage. This is also a very important point that the central government sources are saying, so that could pave the way for peace in Manipur. Though government sources say that yes, the situation is still not fully normal. There is still violence happening, but violence is at smaller scale. In fact, the center is saying that as many as 35,000 central forces have made a buffer between both the communities and are trying to restore peace here. No guilty person will be spared. Another 2-3 major steps that the center is taking to restore peace in Manipur is that the biometric and thumb impressions will now be taken of all people who come from Myanmar to Manipur. The center has also decided to fast track a border fencing project with Myanmar. A survey is already on in this aspect. And central government sources also saying that the Prime Minister, in fact, has been in constant touch with officials for all updates on the Manipur situation, and the effort of the center and of the state government both is to restore peace in Manipur at the earliest.
Aman, I also would like to understand from you, considering this video has now been referred to the Central Bureau of Investigation, the premise was the timing of the video. They wanted to understand why the video was released just a day before the monsoon session really started in the parliament. That was suspect. That was the reason. And because of this, we are also looking at these other aspects that you spoke about, or there is more to it?
See, clearly their feeling here is that prima facie, there seems to be some conspiracy because the video was dated May 4th and it was released just on the eve of the parliament session. So if somebody had the video, why did the person not hand it over to administration immediately? So that is all these points are there. Obviously, the center doesn't want to get into this. So far, the priority is to ensure peace in Manipur and justice is delivered in this case. The center has condemned this video in strongest terms. The BJP has condemned it. And that is why these special steps are being taken of handing this over to the CBI. Also, free and fair trial outside the state. In another state, maybe it will be Assam where the trial will be done, and the arrest of the person who made this video. You know, the mobile has also been found. So the chain of the leak and how this entire event happened will be established by the center during the probe.
And Aman, lastly, anything coming out of the person who you just mentioned has been, in fact, caught, who had recorded this video? Anything from that probe really coming out at that moment, or is it too soon to say?
Not so far. Not so far. We don't know what has the probe revealed, but this is a major development that the person who shot the video has been arrested.
All right. Thank you so much, Aman, for that big piece of breaking news that we have on Viewpoint. What we are giving to know, and let me sum up the points that Aman has made. Firstly, the MHA is going to be referring this viral Manipur video. This entire case goes to the CBI now. In fact, the center is speaking to both the communities, the Metis and the Kukis in Manipur. They are in fact hopeful to get them on the same table soon. The talks are at an advanced stage. That is what we are being told. In fact, the violence in Manipur is still being reported, but what is coming to light is that it has receded. And that's some sort of welcome news, as there is no death that's been reported since July 18th. And we're also given to understand that 35,000 central forces have made buffer between both the Kuki and Methi communities. The video case that is now going to go to the CBI. The center is also recommending the trial in a separate state. Like Aman was mentioning, this might be done in Assam. The man, in fact, who shot that video has also been caught by the police. The phone has been seized. What is the other word that's coming out is that no guilty person is going to be spared in this case, and how there is no price hike situation as well in the state, and adequate supply of essential commodities is in place. Aman, the fact that all of this is coming to light, what happens to this entire opposition demanding for an explanation of the center, in this case the Prime Minister? After this, where does it go from here?
See, the center is very clear that it wants an exclusive discussion on Manipur. The sources are very clear that the center has never shied away from a complete discussion on Manipur. In fact, the Home Minister in an all-party meeting had explained the entire situation of Manipur to all political parties, but the opposition seems insistent on the Prime Minister to speak on the incident. But the BJP and the government sources who we have spoken to are very, very clear that the center is not shying away. In fact, center has the entire material ready on what caused this problem in Manipur, what are the major issues which have happened, the High Court judgment which asked for ST status to be given to the Metis, the various points that led to this violence in Manipur, which has been rocked the state since May 3rd. All these material is ready, but the center is very clear that they are ready for any kind of discussion on Manipur in the parliament, but it is the prerogative of the Speaker of the House to decide under which rule it should be held. And the center is also citing that, on earlier occasions, Manipur has also been rocked by violence, but the response of the government in this particular case has been very good. Forces were rushed within no time to Manipur. So ever from the first day since the reports of violence had come, forces were rushed. All efforts have been done to restore peace in Manipur. And as we now reporting, that talks are actually at an advanced stage to get both the sides on the same table for talks. Right now, the center is talking to both the sides separately, and the effort is on to get them on the same table so that the violence ebbs and this feeling of distrust between both communities is reduced.
Thank you so much. Aman Sharma there giving us all the details on how this entire Manipur case, the video case, is now going to be handed to the Central Bureau of Investigation. With that, it's a wrap from my side here on Viewpoint. My colleague Toya is up next with Plain Speak.
You're watching Plain Speak with me, Toya Singh. On this show, we aim to look at the day's top stories through the lens of just the facts. Our first story tonight focuses on comments the Prime Minister made earlier in the day today at Sikar in Rajasthan, a poor-bound state, remember. Now, in these comments, he reiterated a jibe he's made before against the Opposition Alliance's 2024 banding, the I.N.D.I.A.